People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
You've tuned in to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. We all know nobody can predict the future, so I'm not even going to try. However, we can explain certain things that will always occur. Because our economic environment is consistently changing, I think it's critical that any plan you create be modified and kept up to date as things change. Your planning will not change on its own accord. You have to be conscious of our ever-changing world and make sure your plan coincides with these changes. I can also tell you that retirement planning does not end at, let's say, age 65. You may live another 25 or 30 years. So you'll have a lot of reviewing and managing of your assets involved. Imagine if you had the same financial portfolio today as you did 30 years ago. You could be in big trouble. 30 years ago, think about it, $40,000 was the price of a home. Today, that same amount may buy you a semi-luxury car. And 30 years ago, you probably never would have imagined the computers, space stations, and 9/11. Enron, WorldCom. These type of scandals, political changes, and the dot-com era, stock price rise, and subsequent crash into 2008? How about 7,000 pages of tax laws no one understands? Taking your shoes off at the airport? I can go on and on about how things have changed. But I want you to try and imagine what it would be like 30 years from today. Do you see why it's so critical that everyone adapts their retirement plan, their financial planning to the ever-changing environment? Even if you set up your retirement plan 10 years ago, you better not be relying on it for any type of security if you haven't updated or changed it since then. I think we have to constantly ask ourselves, has my financial situation changed? Has my health changed? How about your family, tax laws, inflation, or the stock market? Has it changed? If you remember to do this one little thing, you will get huge results. You'll be able to keep up with the never-ending roller coaster ride that our economy offers that makes our planning change quite often. In fact, if you addressed your finances only a year or 2 years ago, think of all that's changed since then. there are hundreds upon hundreds of new legal and tax changes each year. So you have to ask yourself, is your plan up to speed with all of them? Now, I'm not saying that reviewing every little detail of your financial portfolio needs to become a daily event, but it does need to become a regular event. I'm basically talking about monitoring your plan. I talk about the 6 different stages of the planning process. The final and 6th stage, monitoring the plan, and if changes were needed, we go back and make those changes to keep your plan up to date. It's no different than going to see your family doctor at least once a year for a checkup to see if anything's wrong. It can be a quick appointment, a quick blood test, or even some exams. And you're out there knowing that everything is fine. Same applies to your retirement plan. But if everything isn't fine, you've detected it early enough to get the proper treatment. If it's something like high blood pressure, you'll take home blood pressure medicine. And of course, follow the doctor's instructions. The ultimate result is it's going to help you live a longer and healthier life, as is your retirement plan to continue to be healthy and last your lifetime. Keep in mind, changes will always occur. The risk that those changes can affect your financial health, your retirement plan, they're always going to be there. So it's a situation of monitoring the plan yearly. There's going to be years where nothing needs to be done. Not that many changes have occurred to affect your plan, but sooner or later, there's going to need to be some changes made. The problem is we just don't know when that's going to be, as far as, is it going to be next year, is it going to be 2 years from now or 3 years from now? But eventually, yes, it will be needed. I know that many of my listeners have not had a financial checkup or a checkup up to date on your retirement plan. It's not your fault. I feel it is the obligation of your advisor, your planner, whoever you're working with, is to make sure you have annual checkups. If not, then I want you to call me, because I'll provide that at no cost, absolutely no obligation. At least discuss your plans, your goals and objectives, and to make sure your plan is on track with what you want. 888-426-0177. Those of you that are working with a planner and you are getting the attention that you should get, you're having yearly reviews, yearly checkups, that is great to hear. But the problem today, because of advisors retire, they leave the business, or they consider your accounts too small to justify them working with you, you're probably among the majority of the people today. So let me know. I do want to help. 888-426-0177. And I want you to keep in mind that monitoring your financial situations becomes very easy, at least for me. because I do it every day, especially if you compare it to the difficulty of running out of money later on in your retirement, let's say at age 80 or 85, and having to rely on welfare or family for support. This is what we're going to prevent. And of course, as you've heard me say on prior shows, we want to do everything we can to make sure your income is guaranteed. Just as any pension that you may have is, just as Social Security is, your supplemental income on and above pension and Social Security should be guaranteed. This way you know what's coming in and you know you can't outlive that income. Questions, concerns, or if you want to address a particular situation about your plan, call me at 888-426-0177. I'm going to continue on this topic because I feel it's extremely important after the break. So stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement Show in a moment.
You know, with the baby boomer generation retiring about 10,000 per day across the country, thousands are facing options on which is the best for them to take their pension benefits if you're fortunate enough to have a pension. You're welcome to visit my website, www.heischmanfs.com, HEIschmanFS.com. You'll find more information about pensions, lifetime income, and Social Security. The financial snapshot that I offer not only addresses and identifies your financial needs and priorities, but is also used to develop proposed solutions consistent with your needs and objectives. So the pension options are taken into consideration with this. And primarily that's for those that haven't made that final election yet. Once you do make that election and it's intact, you're with that for the rest of your life to what your decision is. If in doubt and you have any questions, it's worth getting another opinion, and that's what I'm here for. We do it daily, and I encourage you to call. You owe it to yourself. 888-426-0177, or you can call 614-861-7055.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Before the break, I was discussing the importance of monitoring your retirement plan, getting a checkup, and making sure it's staying up to date, keeping up to date with all the changes that occur in our life and in a very short period of time. Every other year, could be year to year, but we all know things change. Prior to the break, I talked about guaranteed lifetime income. It's very real and it's very serious because retirees running out of money is not something to make light of. It's becoming far too common, and retirees become their own victims from the lack of planning and keeping their plan up to date. In retirement, being flat broke is not an experience that most of us would like to have. However, if someone neglects to skillfully plan and monitor the plan, there are certain situations that could lead to an individual's own worst financial enemy. So basically, let's not let that happen. I want you to position yourself wisely. Monitor your plan the rest of your lifetime. Therefore, you can ensure peaceful and a secure retirement. And as I said at the first part of the show, if you're working with somebody that is doing that for you, great. You don't need to call me. But if you're one of those listeners that is not getting that attention, maybe you haven't talked to a planner or your advisor for many years, you don't even know if he or she is still around, you've been assigned a 1-800 number at the corporate office, you need to call me. Remember that risk tolerance changes typically with age. And usually when a retiree runs out of money, it's because their income is not guaranteed, but also too much of their money is at risk, susceptible to market losses, as well as sequence of returns risk. What do I mean by that? Several years in a row or several years in retirement, the market is down. You've lost 20, 25, 28%. There's a sequence where the market has produced negative returns, and you need to make that up. Not only do you need to make that up, you need to hope that the market stays up so you don't lose more money in the future. Perfect example of what can wreck a retirement plan if it is not adjusted to your risk tolerance. So write this number down, 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. Okay, I want to give you some predictions. You can agree with me or you can disagree with me, but at least they will hopefully get you thinking about things certain to occur and change. I think pretty much everyone can agree that tax laws will change, could be drastically, and will most likely change several times over our lifetime. Tax rates may go up, and as we've seen, they may go down, but they will definitely change. And many of those changes will directly affect you. If you don't follow them closely, you'll need to get others to help you monitor how that impact of those changes is going to affect your plan. What about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid? I kind of think they're going to go through some changes in the future. You know, a lot of people think Social Security and other government-run programs won't be around because they're going to be bankrupt due to increasing life expectancies, mismanage of funds, or make drastic changes to reduce benefits in an attempt to save the system. The government keeps reporting that Medicare eventually will be broke. So obviously, something has to change. Personally, I believe it will. But if not, you have to make sure you don't go broke along with a Social Security system that went broke. So I want you to ask yourself, are you relying on the government to take care of you when you retired, or are they taking care of you if you're currently retired? And I realize that many are. The percent of those that are dependent on Social Security retirement income and it's their only source is high. That's another reason to work with a planner to see what alternatives there are, plan for the future, and be in a position where if a large public policy risk changes, you're going to want to be able to survive. One of the biggest problems today, people are living longer and longer with higher and higher healthcare costs. So you put that together with increased longevity, that's a big change. We all know about inflation. The cost of living are bound to keep changing, going up. We can't predict what will happen for sure, although one thing is for sure, things are definitely going to cost more in the future than they do now. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, let's look back. The price of a house or any other goods, what was it 20, 30 years ago compared to today? Let's look in the future. What do we expect costs to be? So that brings up another situation about a retiree's income. Are you in a position to be able to increase your income along with inflation? If not, some serious changes in your budget are going to have to occur. That's why I always try to see how we can schedule income payments to be able to increase as time goes on to help offset inflation. Because I definitely don't want my clients to break even or lose ground. So we want to find out today how your investments are doing, how they're positioned, and take a look at the inflation factor along with that. Look for the future to be dynamic. Things will change, as they always have. It's nothing new. What's new is the awareness today on how preemptive our actions need to be in regards to keeping our finances up to speed with all of the changes. It's part of planning. Our seniors, retirees, right now, they're paying the price for not having this awareness brought to their attention years ago. Many are operating off old investment and estate planning ideas, old retirement income ideas, and they're not holding up in today's economy and tax climate. This is what I want to change. And it is unfortunate that the government keeps changing things, and our older generations weren't always advised on how to adjust their planning towards these changes. I kind of feel it's the new retirement planning platform. It's one thing to grow your money or attempt to grow your money, to generate income. But what is done today has to be positioned to be able to change in the future as the world changes. As government changes, the economy and markets change. Remember, it's never too late. Most people are in a position to make changes. The big problem is they don't know how or what to change. My job is to direct them on how to change, how to position their assets for change, and address their retirement income to the changes. So the good thing is, once we do that, then I want you to be in a position to where you can appreciate what you've done and live life to the fullest and in good health and enjoy your retirement. That's what it's all about. 888-426-0177. Again, 888-426-0177. I'd like to know your questions, your concerns, how I might be able to help you, or any additional information that you may want to get your hands on that can help you with a more secure retirement. Be sure to tune in next week. I'm your host, Jon Heischman.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.